Look at the wind. I mean, it is coming in. That's how windy it is where I'm at. I'm really thinking about the tiny home movement. That's what my dream was last night. I've been looking at geodesic domes, and I dreamed I built a dome within a dome within a dome, and they just kept going on and on inside my dome. Uh, so I know where that dream came from, at least. And then there's this gal named Renee I dreamed about, but that ship sailed a long time ago. It's so crazy. The gals you like, I got three criteria in a woman. Three of them. It's three. She gotta love God, like legitimately, like for real, not just some BS churchianity crap. And I gotta be attracted to her, and I gotta like her personality. And I know what I look like. I'm not Casanova in the rain or in the summer. I ain't Casanova. But I don't think that's too unreasonable, honestly. But God help you trying to find that. I don't know. Seems difficult. So I'm at that point in my life when the world's been ravaged by technocratic, medical authoritarian tyranny to the point of economic dissolution globally for purposes that have nothing to do with keeping anybody safe and everything to do with fostering a false pandemic claim that's been planned in advance to the extent that 1,200 plus CEOs in 2019 resigned because they knew it was coming and they wanted to cash out while their stocks were high. And like everybody in this situation in life, I'm realizing that there's just not a high likelihood of things going back to the way they were, especially given how ignorant people are and how willing they are to trust in an authority that is objectively lying and manipulating them. I mean, we all know what's going on. It's not rocket science. But our culture is just so cowardly today. Nobody wants to rise up and do anything. Good luck if you do it by yourself. I don't know what the solution is, honestly. I'd like to be on the vanguard of a movement that turns things around and brings them back to a liberty center as they should be. But they're stomping that out. I mean, I'm banned from Facebook till the middle of June. You can't say anything on YouTube or Instagram or Twitter that gets any traction if you're not part of the technocratic, leftist, socialist, globalist, universalist, essentially Luciferian elite. Friend of mine named Shellaby says Luciferian, and that's a pretty good term for it. You go to the Fish and the Dead shows and you see these white trust fund hippies with their dreadlocks acting like they're Rastafarian, but really they're just all about getting their rocks off. They're just all about themselves. Luciferian. I love it. But that's what we're dealing with, is a society and a culture built around selfishness. And now it's imploding. And God help you if you're trying to do the right thing. So what's the solution? Well, I'm looking into off-grid living. I mean, it's so windy in Wyoming. 2 wind turbines and half a solar array, and I should have more energy than I know what to do with. I figure for about 10 grand you can build yourself a neat little bungalow. You just have to choose the right land. Land will probably be another 5 to 10 grand because they don't let you buy in less than 10 to 20 acre segments. But if you bought a big enough segment of acres, maybe you could sell them. Other off-grid people looking to find a community where they can subsist without government dependence on a grid. Boy, the Hutterites and the Amish and the Mennonites, they sure do look like they got their shit together right now. Because they're not even affected by this COVID-19 thing unless some army units have gone to their land, rounded them up, and threw them in a cage, which might have happened. We'd never know. The media doesn't tell us the truth. The mockingbird, communist, socialist propaganda that they foist through the mainstream outlets at all levels, whether you're on the left and right. You got to go to the fringe and triangulate your truth between these sources. You have to read between the lines. Not everybody can do that. That's right, Kitty. I hope everybody gets back to normal too. I'm tired of bouncing around and talking to cats and losing my mind. But who knows? You know, it'd be nice to think everybody can band together and use the rights that are guaranteed to them in the Constitution to stop these evil politicians from doing what they're doing. But everybody's too self-centered and lazy. They're all Luciferian, Rastafarian. They've been demoralized through the socialist propaganda for decades, and it's been combined with eco-propaganda and globalist propaganda. And they've been satiated with bread and circuses that have moved on from just entertainment in the public forum and gone through technology into our living room so that we can just jack in and jack off and jack out, and jack shit's all that gets done with our lives. We've become those fat floating people from Wall-E, which is, of course, a blueprint of modernity and futurism with a little Fred Willard bit. And then, to avoid that, we go with their plan, which is no driving. Everybody's in a city. You get vaccinated so they can track you. And suddenly you're part of a collective hive mind, a hive consciousness, just a busy little bee with a queen, Mark Zuckerberg or Bill Gates or whoever it ends up being in the core of power. All I want to do is make artistic little bits of flotsam and jetsam. Just little movies, comedy, stories, vignettes. I'm not bad at it. It's so weird. So what are we gonna do? I don't know. I don't know. I know a lot of people that could do the militia thing. But there's only 10 of you, what's the point? I'm sure the technocrats love to hear this. But you know, there's a funny thing that happens when you're part of that robust satanic elite, portraying yourselves as humanitarians, when the term itself is really built around advocating a propagandized ideal. And that's that nothing that's done in private is not revealed. It says that in Scripture, the good and the bad. It's all going to be on display one day. And as you spin these webs from funds that are rooted in human trafficking and abuse, you're necessarily going to make ripples in the pool of humanity, and you're going to get sucked down under those waves, and you'll become the pressurized darkness at the bottom of it all, filled with mud and anglerfish and nothing worthy of the light of day. That or it's the end times and there's nothing we can do until God whistles and tells everybody to get out of the pool for the millennial reign. I don't know. Watch Israel. When they're sacrificing in the third temple, it's a big sign. And the temple isn't where the Dome of the Rock is. Both the English Crusaders and the Islamic fascists, because that's what they are, they got it wrong. That's a fort, a Roman fort, where that Dome of the Rock is. All you got to do is know your Scripture, which is one of the reasons we may be further along in that third temple than many people realize. When they're sacrificing in that temple, the abomination of desolation eventually transpires. And I think it's going to have to do with the technocratic, techno-fascist elite going in there and setting themselves up. I don't think it's going to be as dramatic as when Antiochus Epiphanes slaughtered the pig that caused the Maccabean Revolution, for which Hanukkah is celebrated to this day. But something like that's going to happen. I guess we'll see what it is. Maybe it'll just be the installation of a technological kiosk that monitors people. I don't know. Something's going to happen. Something is definitely going to happen. Could be in 200 years or tomorrow.